This episode of the Bloody Vegans podcast is brought to you by Veg One and the good folks over at the Vegan Society. Veg One is the multivitamin and mineral supplement designed by vegans for vegans. It was introduced back in 2005, updated in 2021 with an incredible new plastic-free package, and contains all of those key vitamins and minerals that everyone will tell you when you transition into a plant-based diet, into a vegan lifestyle, that you need to think about, and you absolutely do. So, what's in there? You've got B2, B6, B12, D3, iodine, selenium, and folic acid. So all of those kind of key ones you need to consider when you're starting out, or perhaps you've been here for some time. And it's all in a convenient once-a-day chewable form, which is super helpful, right? It's just £12.70 for 6 months worth. And they come in two amazing flavours. You've got orange and you've also got blackcurrant. Orange is a personal favourite of mine. I'm definitely team orange when it comes to Veg One. So if you'd like to know more and you're interested in picking up your 6 month supply, head over to thevegansociety.com, search for Veg One, and you can pick up some right there, delivered straight to your door. Enjoy the episode. I should say backed by popular demand. So yeah, Vegan Queen V, Jen, how's things going? How's it been since we last spoke? It was December 2020, so we were deep in COVID land by that point. Not that we're not now, but we're
it's slightly different.
It's a
different landscape,
different hillside of COVID land.
Yes.
Yeah. What's been happening?
Mine's got flowers on it.
What's been happening?
Well, the biggest thing since we last spoke is that I finally got the album together.
Yay.
Well, actually, I say that I still have one song to write, but
okay,
there is a release date now set, and I've got my last session up in the recording studio in Scotland booked for the beginning of March, and then be all set.
That's incredible. What? So where's the studio?
The studio is in a place called Great Bernera, which is on the Isle of Lewis and Harris, which is in the Outer Hebrides in Scotland.
Wow.
It's quite far away, but it's a magnificent place, a very special place to record music.
How did you come across that as a studio?
Yeah, it's quite difficult to come across unless you actually know it's there.
Yeah.
But I knew I was going to be up in the area anyway, and I'd been searching for a vegan music producer, and I couldn't find anybody. Obviously, most music producers, even if they are vegan, they're not going to put that on their website. Music producer, vegan, it probably would put some people off, wouldn't it? So I kind of gave up the search in the end for the moment. Knew I was going to Scotland. I thought, you know what, these songs, I just want to get them out there. It doesn't matter who makes them, and as long as they're out there for people to listen to, that's the important thing. So I thought, let's see if there's a studio up in the Outer Hebrides in Scotland. Turns out there is one, and it's incredible. It's the best studio I've ever worked in, and the best experience I've ever had in a music studio. And I've been doing this for a little while. And in the end, it turns out Pete, the guy who owns the studio and is the producer, has tried veganism before, and after working on my songs with me, he's like, okay, I'm going vegan again. And it's been vegan ever since. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, amazing. I'm so grateful as well, because I really wanted to work with a vegan.
So you sort of willed it into existence.
Yeah. But it's so great because it's on the Isle of Lewis, which is just, the landscape is just crazy, beautiful. It's the studio itself is surrounded by the ocean. So when you're playing in the library, you can see the sea, and it's got this beautiful grand piano, which is just always a pleasure to play and to rehearse on and to record on. And you can actually stay on the site with the studio. So I've been, when I'm there recording in the day, I can then rehearse in the evening, looking over the sea. And it's so inspirational, and Pete is really good at his job. And I think we work quite well together as a team. So,
Wow, that sounds
exciting times.
Had you got the album written before you went up there? It sounded like you had.
Yes,
most of
well, I had most of it. I was still waiting for one song, which in the end I did write. I finished writing in the last day session last time I was there, but it's sounding incredible. Unfortunately, I was going to do a cover, Pocahontas, Colours of the Wind. Just love that song. But I decided, along with sort of friends' feedback, that I maybe putting a cover on the album wasn't really the right decision. So that one's come off and it'll be released as a video at some point. But it means that I still have one more song to write. But it'll come.
How's it shaped the tracks being up there? Has it changed what they started out as?
Yeah. So one of the reasons I wanted to record in Scotland is because I've been kind of yearning, like, organic and raw and just very acoustic kind of sounds. And I've listened to all sorts of music as I've grown up, and being a piano player and a violin player, I've also played different styles of music, and that Celtic-y kind of folky, Cayley kind of music. Like, I've always had quite a big love for it. And there's a band called Roara, who are a Celtic kind of pop band, and I love their music. And I was listening to them sort of all during the summer when I was driving around Scotland as well. And that's influenced the sound of the songs. They're very grand now, but with that kind of Celtic, raw influence. Yeah, they're sounding really great.
And is it predominantly kind of piano driven as your previous work?
It is, yeah. It kind of has to be, because when I'm playing them live, a lot of the time I'll be playing them on my own. So the piano part's kind of, is the foundation of all the songs. And then, everything else is kind of built on top. But there's a lot of strings on the album. One of my best friends, who's another amazing vegan animal activist, does a lot of social media stuff to sort of raise awareness of the situation. She's doing the strings on the album, and so it's like a double whammy. Amazing. She's super talented, but also comes with, like, the fight and the awareness of what's happening as well, which it's like invaluable, especially for a project like this.
How about the themes involved in the album? Like, what's the sort of subject matter of this one?
So some of the songs are reworks of older songs. I think I have the track list in here.
Oh, exciting!
There's like a couple of songs that are out there already. What Hell Is Like is one of them.
Yeah.
Only One Life is going to be on there as well. So there's those sorts of animal rights songs written from the perspective of the animals, just about their situation. But equally, I've realised, as well as talking about the truth and about how awful it is, because it really is, like, it really is hell on earth for billions of animals. As well as talking about that, we also need to talk about positive and the solutions and the happiness, because if we're constantly talking about negative, that's what we're going to just be, continue to, whatever the word is, that's what's going to continue if we talk about negativity. So I'm now trying to balance it out with, it's all animal rights songs, and in some cases human rights songs as well. Humans are oppressed as well as animals, which is actually kind of one of the main themes I'm trying to get across to people. We can't have our freedom if animals are enslaved as they are at the moment. They can't, we can't live in harmony and peace when, in the field next door, an animal's having his throat slit. It just doesn't work, does it? So I'm trying to make that connection for people.
Yeah. How's your It sounds like your activism's kind of evolved over the course of time. Would you say that would be fair to say?
I guess it has. I think my the way I sort of approach people with the vegan message has definitely changed, and I think it does for everyone, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just because my main outlet is music. Maybe it kind of comes through in that way as well.
Yeah.
But when I first went vegan, I was talking to a friend about this the other day. I was so angry. I was angry sort of at the world, and then I learned what I did, and I thought, well, surely when I share this with others, they'll be angry and change too. And I got even more angry when I realised that wasn't the case at all. Like, I told my friends and my family what I'd learned, and they just continued. And that was really hard for me. And it took a while to not be so angry at everyone. And now I'm not angry at all, because I as well as, yes, it's personal choice to do X, Y, and Z, but was just so lied to from the day we were born.
Yeah.
Most people, when our parents tell us that we should drink this milk because it's good for our bones, they're not deliberately trying to hurt us or trying to lie to us. It's just they've been lied to, and then they pass that lie down. So I realise now it's not a person's fault that they think like they do what they do. Even if they find something like milk impossible to give up, like, before I'd be angry and say you're selfish, this, that and the other. Now I'm like, well, it's just you've been so indoctrinated, brainwashed, and it's not just down to the person,
Yeah.
Which is something I get now.
Being angry at the kind of system more than the individual who's a sort of a victim of that system as well in their own way.
And they are though, because we know how bad animal products are for us. They really do bring us down in every way. So these people continuing to consume these products, yes, it's hurting the animals, of course it is, but it's hurting themselves as well, which is makes it twice as sad.
Yeah. It just reminded me of, I spoke to a chap last night. He was 85. He'd been vegan for 50-something years. He's incredible. Lives in Hawaii. It's on the podcast too. Yeah. He's kind of got this collective of people that have lived together for 50 years. A bit like a kind of commune thing. It sounds quite incredible actually. But anyway, he was talking about the point that you just made there, and I'd never really thought about it in that way before. I mean, obviously I thought about it from a health point of view, but much more in a mechanical kind of way was the way I'd viewed it, almost quite a scientific way. Like, well, if you eat that kind of product, it's going to have this physical, biological effect on your body. But one thing he said, and it really sort of stuck out from the conversation, he said, when I turned vegan, I felt myself becoming gentler. And I thought, it just, what you said there sort of resonated with the same kind of point, that idea that it's you kind of filled with the violence, almost filled with the anger of that comes with and of eating animal products, and it sort of dissipates and is removed from you when you stop doing that over the course of time. And I'd not thought about it like that. Perhaps I thought that terminology might have been a bit a bit hokey kind of thing, or a little bit woo woo kind of. But I'm not sure. I don't think it is actually. I think there's probably something to that. I don't know about you.
Well, if you think about stress in humans, how it can manifest and have physical, people their hair might fall out. Yeah. Maybe they'll get a rash, or maybe they'll be overweight, because the stress. The same thing happens in animals, obviously. Like, it manifests physically in their being, and then if you consume that, you're consuming that stress, So it's on top of everything. Have a side of stress to go with your pork chops.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Going back to the music. Sorry,
get a bit philosophical here, or is it spiritual?
Well, we do that on this podcast now and then. I go off on various tangents. A good tangent, though. Hopefully, I think. What's life been like from a live music point of view? I imagine it's been in and out of lockdown and on and off and all kinds of stuff. Have you been able to be out and performing much in the way that you perhaps once were when we were, not even when we were last speaking, but even prior to that?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I guess I've been just focusing on, instead of, I was trying to say, I've had some really amazing gigs in the past 6 months where I've just wanted to create an experience for people, a happy experience, or a peaceful experience, or a beautiful experience, but just a really positive experience. And for me, music, it kind of has to be paired with food for it to, something nice to drink, and then some wholesome, as a person who's vegan and who has really learned the magic in fresh food and organic food, and just different combinations and spices and flavours of something just is really a big part of my life now. I want to share that with people, share that knowledge, and share that amazing, food experience. So I've been doing music. I'll do my animal rights songs, or maybe I'll do. Sometimes it's just like a jam with other musicians. We're just creating this experience for people, and everybody is involved. If they're an audience, you can just vibe off their energy and their enjoyment of the music. If it's a jam, obviously everybody's a bit more involved, and everybody could just pick up something to bang or whatever, just get involved. And so that's been quite a development for me, and I've just really been enjoying it. And that's something I want to do with the album. There's going to be a UK tour, and I want to just combine my music, my messages, with other really nice things like food. I was even thinking, I've started putting on this day of happiness in my local church, and I was thinking that maybe I could do a day of happiness and then do a concert in the evening. Just different things, just because really all I want to do is make people happier, because if they're happier, they're much less likely to abuse animals the way that they do. As I was saying before, yes, it's your individual choice, and you can stop or start anything in any second you choose. It's completely in your hands. But the way people have been sort of brought up and lied to, it's a bit more complicated.
Yeah, I think it's a really valid point. When people are kind of happy and in a relaxed space, enjoying one another's company, and a sort of feeling of community is there, are they a bit more open to receiving messages, to receiving or having a conversation, being engaged with about something that's a bit different, that about, say, veganism or a lifestyle choice, that kind of thing. I think it's really important. Have folks that you've come across when you've been able to get out and play, do you get a sense from people in audiences that they've been yearning for that connection, that's kind of been really missing from their lives over the last kind of couple of years, with us being a bit in and out of physical spaces together?
I guess so. I mean, yeah. I guess a lot of the concerts I've done recently have been with friends. Yeah. Around friends. So we've kind of, been doing things together, creating these communities around the UK. We were talking just before we started recording, just recently bought a van, and it's just made it really easy to go and, down south, visit these friends, go to Scotland, studio, and visit these friends. So I've been able to kind of do these events and do these performances sort of in various places with people that I know. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure the last couple of years has really made people appreciate a lot of things that maybe, it didn't. It certainly has for me. And live music for me as well. Now, all I want to do is just vibe with people, just have a jam and just play and play for ourselves, but play for people so they can listen and dance and eat some food on the side. Just all these nice things that just reminds you, why we're here, why we're living, and what can be.
This episode of the Bloody Vegans podcast is brought to you by Veg One from the Vegan Society. Veg One is the nutritional vitamin and mineral supplement designed for vegans by vegans. Launched back in 2005 and rebranded in 2021 with a fantastic new plastic-free package, Veg One provides nutritional support alongside a healthy and balanced vegan diet, all for an affordable price. With a 6-month supply available for just £12.70, Veg One will cost you little over £2 a month and offers EU nutrient reference values, or NRVs, of vitamin B12, D3, iodine, selenium, B2, B6 and folic acid. Veg One is chewable, it's affordable and reliable, you can take it once a day, it's available in fantastic orange and blackcurrant flavours, super easy and convenient, completely plastic free. So why not head over to vegansociety.com, search for Veg One and take your next healthy steps into the world of veganism.
What life can be.
I've certainly found that, like the lack of live music, that kind of sense of, as much as there would be various gigs where I'd moan about being amongst too many people and all that kind of stuff, like pre-pandemic. Now I think I miss that. I miss being amongst other people enjoying the same thing and seeing a moment, a moment with a musician, with an artist, with a band, whoever, that isn't going to exist again. Our lives are so like on catch up. They're so digital. They're so like every moment is recorded and you can watch it again and that kind of stuff. There is something kind of again, I'm getting a bit deep here, but there is something I think really like unique and special about seeing something that's not going to happen again. That it was that evening. Something was created and then it disappeared and all you have is your memory, and that's lovely. I think it's a kind of a special thing about music that I've personally missed over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It's less of a question, more of a musing.
No, I enjoyed it. Yeah. We're going deep.
It did go a little bit that way.
Dive.
Let's talk about funding the album, because that's unique this time. You're crowdfunding the album. That's right. Is that right?
I am. Disclaimer: I hate asking people for money. I wish that things cost nothing.
Yeah.
But the songs are sounding great, and it's the right studio. The right musicians are on it. I'm working with the right people, and these people need paying, and they deserve to be paid because they're all magnificent, and the songs are just sounding incredible. But I just hope people see the value in having songs that can be heard by the masses, but that they've got these important messages in them. I hope they're accessible, and I hope people can see that they could be a good tool for getting through to more people. And I've decided to do crowdfunder, which is where people can buy the download of the album for a certain amount, or they can buy a physical copy for signed. And there's like different tiers. There's a tier with like a t-shirt and a poster, and people can basically just pledge what they want. And I'm doing it via my website. I put it on Kickstarter initially, and then realised that they took like 10% of everybody's money. Right. Yeah, I was like, well, that's a lot of money, isn't it? especially because I'm wanting to raise a lot of money, because as well as the album, which is in itself is going to, after the studio costs and paying the musicians and all that, and videos and photos, it's already sort of, I think I've paid out about five grand so far, which it's worth it, but it's
expensive, right?
It is. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but you get what you pay for. So there's, I think the first pledge is like £8 for a download of the album, and then I've got sort of like a corporate package for companies if they want to, vegan companies, if they want to get involved, which they're starting to do, which is pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great. I think the crowdfunding to me is more about just making direct connection with people and over the music. So, as I say, the money is important and it needs to happen, but I really wish that wasn't a thing. I could just, to communicate directly with people and, make music for them to listen to and enjoy and use themselves if they can.
Yeah, and I think there's something important about paying an artist directly. I think there's something, again, talking about things that are lost.
Yeah.
We're all sort of paying big streaming companies loads of money to not fund half the people that we listen to. So
yes, and that is just more and more I try when I can to use independent businesses and shop locally and use the smaller businesses. So it makes sense for me to not go through a big company. It's kind of against my values, even though obviously when you're working on the internet and working online, you kind of have to a certain degree, unfortunately.
Well, that's it, isn't it? We're all kind of a little bit caught in that particular trap of, supporting big companies by giving them our content, if you like.
Yeah.
Even the fact that it's become content and it's not art anymore.
No, yeah, exactly. But that's why I'm so. I want this the tour to be a big part of what I'm doing, because it's the time where I can connect directly with people, and that's really the main thing I want to be doing. If I could, I'd do everything completely in person, and hopefully one day I'll somehow get to that sort of thing. But yeah, I just want to see people like physically and play to them in the same room as them, and feel that energy and have those conversations and inspire one another. So one of the crowdfunder pledges is I think it's like 400 quid or something, or 300 quid. I'll come and play in your house for your friends and your family. Maybe you can do some food, like vegan food, and I'll do sort of like an album concert a concert of the album as part of the tour.
Wow.
Which, it's kind of cool. And if I could, I'd do like all the dates, just house concerts, because as I say, cool. to me, like that experience, like creative experiences, is my main agenda, making people happy so that they can then go on and share these happy messages. And happy vegans are more likely to make some get some minds changed than angry depressed vegans, which we've all been there, haven't we?
Yeah, 100%. You remind me of one of my favourite bands is a band called Darwin Deeds. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're based out of Brooklyn, New York. They're a fantastic band.
I don't know, maybe.
They're a bit unheard of, to be fair, but they did something similar to that idea of, like, they did a house party tour, and they kind of just put it out there on all their socials and said, who wants us to play at their house?
Yeah, brilliant.
And so they didn't book any venues. They just had a van, turned up with all their gear, and played in everybody's house for, like, up and down the country. Said, we're going to be here, or we want to be here in this date. Who's got a house? and then people just turned up, and they had it was like a full-on house party every time. Usually the host whose house it was put them up as well. So they just slept in the house overnight. It's amazing.
It's kind of what I wanted to do. Just make it more of an actual occasion rather than just, a concert, turn up, play and leave. Have an actual, party, with food and then, stay over. Yeah.
It was such a unique thing. I'd love that. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
So, and especially we've been talking about sort of community in the last couple of years and all those kind of things. I think it'd be such a unique thing to bring to an audience. I think people would absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about your videos, because you've done some amazing sort of videos to support the crowdfunder and sort of to preview the new album, and I just think they're amazing and sort of so capture hopefully the sort of excitement around the album and that kind of stuff. I'd just love for you to share a little bit about how they came about.
Yeah, I agree. That I think that if don't mean to sound, it's not really anything to do with me. I've been working with a friend, and he's just amazing. But he's actually somebody I manifested into reality. I really did, because as we were saying, if I could, I would just do everything face to face. But we have to be on social media now. And I'm obviously very grateful for all the connections I have on there. But it's so much effort and time to create this work, to do little promotional things for everything, and to do all these posts and get the content and keep providing. And I was really hoping to find somebody to help me to be able to record whilst I was up in the studio in Scotland, even if it's just documenting it, to maybe use for some point in the future. And I got in touch with this guy who I was friends with on Facebook. I'd never met him in real life, to actually help me with my van, to help me with the batteries in the van. And we met up, and he helped me out. And then, we got talking. I told him about my project and recording this animal rights album in Scotland, and how I'd, been hoping to find somebody to just film a few bits. And we got talking, got on really well. He's an amazing vegan as well. And he decided, you know what, I work for myself. I can figure out my jobs around this. I'll come up with you. So we came up to the studio, and it was just incredible. Filmed in the studio. We did little videos every day. But then when we weren't actually making music, we were outside documenting the beautiful scenery, taking photos for the album, and the videos are just insane. And he also has some really cool gear, like a drone. He actually has a drone. So he's just instantly, if you have a drone, basically anything looks epic. But if you know how to use it, and you're in a place like the Isle of Lewis in the Outer Hebrides in Scotland, you're onto a winner.
I was going to say a drone plus the Isle of Lewis, I think, is the key thing.
It's craziness.
I mean, you're right. Drone footage makes everything look a bit epic, but put drone footage up there, and then it's next level.
Yeah, it really is. So I've been incredibly lucky to met him, and being a vegan, he understands the messages and understands how important it is to get them out there. So he's helped me obviously with the videos and the photos, but also with the crowdfunding and the website, and just we've been a real team, and it's just been amazing to work with somebody who sees the vision as well.
Has that been? I mean, it sounds like it has. You mentioned it a couple of times with the producer for the album, and then obviously your sort of your connections with the videographer and so on. That working with other vegans has been an important part for you, and it sounds obvious, I think, to us sort of in that kind of world, in that headspace, but it'd be good to understand from your perspective why specifically that means so much to you, when you're in such a creative industry as well.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I mean, with these songs, they're so important. The messages are so important. Such a massive issue that I feel like it would be so strange for me to be working on these songs that mean so much, to then know that the person I'm working with is then later going to go and, tuck into a bacon sandwich or something. Knowing that, we've just had we've been working on this body of work that I'm hoping is going to change a lot of hearts and minds. So then, let's forget about that now. It just didn't really sit right with me, which is why I was, especially with the producer, when you're working so closely with somebody on all the tracks, there's been a couple of people who, kind of stepped into the studio whilst we were in Scotland who weren't vegan. So I would have obviously preferred if they were, but if they're just sort of doing a few bits here and there on the track, it's a bit different to, as I say, working with somebody who's going to, have a big input on how the songs are going to sound and be, received by everybody. So yeah, it was a big thing for me, but also the fact that I just think vegans are legends. I just think they're awesome people, and they're who I want to work with. Do you know what I mean? Like their heart's in the right place, and they're campaigning it. They put their money where their mouth is. It's like, all right. They know what they believe in, and they stick to it. It's good.
Yeah. I totally
good fellas,
agree.
These vegans.
I like them. I think they're pretty good. In terms of the plan for the album, is there some particular tracks that you've got earmarked as singles that you think are going to particularly kind of resonate with folks?
Yes, actually, what we're doing for the album is 10 songs, and each song is going to be a chapter of a bigger story. Wow. There's footage and photos that I've sort of released so far of this one character who we're calling her Tao, and she's kind of the image of how humanity should be and what we should be doing and how we should be treating the earth. And she comes down and she's like, yeah, what's happened? So what's going on with these animals? But she's going to be a character sort of throughout. So we're going to be releasing 10 singles. I think I pretty much have the order. We're still just tweaking the story. But I know the first 2 singles are definitely set. Dominion is going to be the first single, which is out March the 20th.
Oh, not long to wait now then.
Yes, exactly.
Just out of interest, because it just made me think, a couple of, as you said, the date there, I thought, okay, a couple of months out from Veganuary and this kind of stuff. Do you find every time there's a Veganuary, you get a little bump in kind of folks who are interested in your music and reach out? Well,
I obviously this time, because I've been promoting the album so much in the crowdfunder and just posting loads more than I would usually, I've had seen an increase anyway. But yeah, you're right. There's probably some Veganuary triers in there as well. Sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's a way to help them kind of solidify the ethics, and understand what it is that they've got involved in, as it were, I think it's amazing, and it's a unique way as well. There's not many other people in sort of the world of music that I know who at least put their ethics so front and center.
Yeah. There are obviously veganism. It's amazing. It's just getting more and more popular, and more celebrities and artists are vegan, which is great. But yeah, there aren't that many saying I'm vegan and I'm gonna freaking shout about it.
Yeah.
Sing about
it. Well, it's some would say, I'd imagine, if it's sort of you've probably been told this at some point, like if a mainstream kind of music producer wasn't vegan, didn't share the ethics or whatever, spoke to you, they'd probably say you shouldn't be doing this. You're narrowing your audience, and and you should be talking wider and talk about sing a song about love or something, and stop singing about this, that, and the other. And I think it's fantastic that you sort of you do that. You do sing about love and all the other human emotions, of course you do, but through this prism and more, of course. But I just think it's amazing to do that and say, actually, no, this is too important for me.
Yeah, and like I was saying before, like I just don't humanity, like we can't be free creatures whilst animals are treated as they are. So just if I want to create more happiness and bring in a better world, everyone needs to know about going vegan. So it's the most important thing to sort of sing about.
100%. Where can folks go about listening to the album when it comes out, or in fact, more importantly, get involved with the crowdfunder first?
The crowdfunder.
The crowdfunder. That's getting cut from this episode.
No, keep that in. That's the best thing.
I probably will, to be fair. Yeah. Or maybe you should change the name of it.
Yeah, it's a crowdfunder.
I didn't say that. I think it's a crowdfunder or something. But how could folks get...
Sorry. Yes, people can find more information about the album and the crowdfunder for the album at veganqueenv.com/crowdfunding. And then I'm posting lots of things, updates on the website and also on Instagram, which is Vegan Queen V, the letter. Same with Facebook, a few bits on there. I wish I could just see everybody in person, so please, when I start booking the tour, come and see me in person, or even better if you want to host me as a piano vocalist for your evening. That is going to be part of the UK tour as well, and I hope it's going to be a big part, because I'm excited about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That bit of the crowdfunder is super exciting. The 300. I mean, they're all exciting tiers, but that tier, I love that. Like, have you play in the house? Amazing.
Yeah, it'd be fun, and I want to meet more people this year, more amazing vegan people, and work together and share these messages.
Awesome. Well, we'll look out for the crowdfunder. We'll look out for March 20th when the new single Dominion's going to come out. Then, right?
That's the one.
Amazing. Vegan Queen V, it's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you for having me back.